With 3 generations of experience dating back to 1960, the family has designed, built, and managed tens of thousands of projects, earning a reputation as a top-rated contractor and placing in the top 5% of all licensed contractors in California. This show pulls back the curtain on construction, leadership, and life, so you can avoid costly mistakes, eliminate chaos, and build with confidence at home and in business. This is where craftsmanship meets mindset. And here are your hosts, Gino and Mario Mazzamuto.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Mazzamuto Method. I'm your host, Gino Mazzamuto.
I'm Mario Mazzamuto.
And today we have a guest, Hannah Santilan, and she is a regional sales representative for the Coastal Pacific Marketing, covering Northern California and Northern Nevada. Hannah grew up in the cabinet industry and has spent the last decade as a rep. She is the person cabinet manufacturers trust to work directly with showrooms and designers like our team at Casa Cabinets. One of the lines she represents is Columbia Cabinets. Actually, it's the only line we represent is Columbia Cabinets.
The best one.
The best one. There we go. My favorite.
It's a family-owned custom cabinet company, and it's actually 3 generations, just like us, started in 1970. And she came into our showroom at Casa Cabinets and gave us a product knowledge about the Columbia cabinets. So we asked her to come on to do a podcast with us, and she obliged us. So Hannah, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. I live in Vacaville, and I started in 2014, so I'm going on 12 years at this point, which is shocking. My dad was a cabinet rep, and he hired me out of college, so here I am 12 years later.
And not only a cabinet rep, but a cabinet rep for Columbia.
There we go. Yes, cabinet rep for Columbia, and here I am all these years later. I love it. I get to travel all over. Most of our customers are good friends at this point after all these years, so it is really fun. Keeps me on my toes. Every day is different, always on the road, figuring out solutions to interesting new things. It's always different.
That's very, very interesting that, I mean, when you think about a cabinet company, they're kind of arbitrary. They make cabinets. It's not a lot that you think that goes into it. But in this instance, Columbia Cabinets started in 1970. And the owner of the Columbia Cabinets actually started Columbia Cabinets out of his garage, correct?
Yes.
And
a little smaller than how we are now.
A little bit. Peter Lowe in 1970 started Columbia Cabinets out of his
We're
garage.
going to quiz you on the history of
Perfect.
And that's why it's named Columbia, because of the street that
on Columbia Street.
On Columbia Street, plus, like you said, British Columbia.
Yes.
So, because your manufacturing plant is in
Canada.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's a little bit more than interesting, because it's not just a company that popped up overnight. You've been around since 1970, still family owned, from what I understand, right?
Still family owned,
3rd generation, which we can equate to.
That's true.
Which is a really good testament to a product that they can last that long, especially going through what I've coined the IKEA era, which is the time when people just wanted fast, cheap, inexpensive. You coined that? I think so. I coined a lot of things. Or at least I like to.
I'm going to call you on your crap.
Who coined it then?
I'm teasing.
Okay. But but it's truth. There was a point in time, because our family heritage, our grandfather was a cabinet maker, and we stopped doing that. A lot of the reasons why was because people just kind of didn't want to pay for that kind of quality anymore. And I called the IKEA eras because that's when IKEA came about, and people got these cabinets, and you got them for cheap. You put them up, and then you'd move them, and then they'd fall apart, and then you have to go buy another set. So Columbia is called like it's a custom cabinet shop. So can you give us a little idea? Because I think most people think of cabinets as box cabinets. You go to Home Depot or any places like that, and you see there's just a cabinet on the shelf. And yes, that is some of the case of what cabinets are. But in your case, you're almost like a custom cabinet shop, because you have so many, the breadth and width of what you can do. So give us a little bit of description of what that pertains to.
What I would say for your IKEA era is the biggest thing is that you don't actually have to build the box itself. I built a dresser once and it was terrible. So as far as Colombia, you can choose sizes to the nearest 16th. So if you're ordering, let's say IKEA, you're stuck with those sizes, which you can use fillers. You can work around those. However, with a truly custom line like Columbia, you can order your cabinets to the exact size that you need. The positive of that is you have less giant fillers in certain areas, and you can get to certain heights. You can design around the look versus what you have. So it does give you that customizable option. We do custom quotes, but our catalog truly covers most things. Sometimes we send in custom quotes and they'll respond back and say, actually do X, Y, and Z mod and you'll get that look. So we do have a lot of options within quote standard that would still be modifications and changes.
So is it still considered factory made at that point? Is it factory custom made? Like where does it fall under?
It is still a factory, but you still have people involved. So things are getting hand sanded, but we also have different parts of the factory, like the finishing department that is a flatline finisher. So you're getting that like very durable catalyzed conversion finish on, let's say, a paint, but you also have like the factory point of it where things are very dialed in, where everything is put into the system and the machine picks everything up and cuts it to size and has it ready to go for the next part of the build.
So you actually got the best of both worlds because you have the output capacity of a large shop and you're doing these things like you spraying and milling that you're able to get really good precision on, but you still have the hands-on portion where you're doing a lot of custom. I know that when you came into the showroom and you were giving us our product knowledge, we started talking about Formica. And what was the brand of the Formica that we were discussing?
So we will source 3 separate brands of laminates. So if you want
laminate, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. Formica is one of the companies we'll source. So Formica, Abbott Laminati, or Wilson Art are the 3 we can source. So we've done like lime green high gloss cabinets. If you want it, we can absolutely do it. So it gives you the option to still get the custom sizing, custom cabinet in whatever color you want, really.
Yeah, I think if we can, we're going to throw a picture up of a kitchen that you showed me. And I was really blown away because it's almost the antithesis of like if you wrapped a vehicle or something, you can get so much customization. It was really shocking. I mean, it looked like a house out of like a Miami Vice movie or something like that. It just had pinks and all these cool colors.
Oh, go ahead. So that was a Formica or a laminated exterior?
Don't know exactly which manufacturer those particular laminates came from, but yes, like if you want purple top drawer fronts and the lower ones to be gray, absolutely, we can just order different sheets and put notes on where to put a drawer front, where to put a door. So you do get customizable options. Same with paint too. If you wanted different colors or things like that, we can definitely do it. So within that like custom realm, there are a lot of things we will do, but we wouldn't be like your super custom woodworker, like how your family started building cabinets where you're physically like making every single thing. So we do have a little more.
Sure, there's going to be limitations to what that is. But I think what's cool about it is those limitations aren't very much. I was really blown away by when you came in. I thought that with my experience that I knew a lot about cabinets, but the amount of options that we went through, the door fronts, the door middles, the laminate panels versus the solid core panels, the different painted drawer boxes and unpainted drawer boxes, dovetail, all the different things. It's just, this is why it's like, we have the Bella Costa showroom and we sell cabinets, but we do those through our designers. And it really makes you appreciate the knowledge that a designer has to have, because really, and when you were just rattling off facts like this, and it was really amazing that you can first retain all that information, because it's not just design knowledge, it's technical knowledge.
It is. It's almost like a giant puzzle with parts and pieces. And what do you want it to look like? To get to that, we need different pieces. So that's the hard thing with, quote, custom cabinets, because there isn't a right or wrong. It's how does the installer want to handle this? Because as installers, you guys know that you could have separate cabinets. You can have one tall cabinet for an oven, but how do you want to install it? What's taking you more time? There's a lot of questions that go into it, and there isn't like, this is the only way we do it kind of thing.
No, it's really amazing to see that what you can do. But going back to the designer portion, this is why what was the antithesis of why we wanted a custom a private showroom, because our showroom is not open to the public. You have to make an appointment. And when you make an appointment, you're sitting down with one of our designers. And typically at that point, our designer has already met you at your home, taken their measurements. Because what you're specifying is I think the big thing that most homeowners don't understand. They think, okay, I'm gonna need some kitchen cabinets. I'm gonna go down to a showroom or a cabinet store. I'm gonna sit with a designer, and typically these designers don't even make home visits. They're going off of the customer's measurements. But there's so many pieces, just like on a filler piece. When we're talking, like the cabinets that we have in the showroom. What would you call those? The ones that those black ones that we have?
Oh, the tall cabinets with the panels,
right? And how Jill, our designer, put those custom panels on the side to make it all flush.
Yeah. So what she did, and I guess you can show a photo of it, is she has that tall, deeper cabinet, and then around the corner she did the shallower one and made it look like doors. So she did a lot of different modifications and different parts to make that work.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize until we started going through it when you were there, how much modification she actually had to do to pull that off.
Yes.
Because I thought it was just, okay, these came, and I know we put them together, and there was, we had to figure out like what went where, but that realistically, she did something that you could almost say that your cabinets were designed to do, but it was so far out of the box as far as not conventional that she had to do a lot of logistical thinking to get it to do that.
Yeah, and we do have a very extensive modification section to try to get to those design ideas. A lot of times people will bring in a photo from Houzz or Pinterest or wherever it is and say, how do I get this look? And then we're trying to do what we did in the showroom, is take it apart and say, okay, these pieces would go here to make this, to whether you're cheating a look with fake doors or turning cabinets. So there's a lot of thought that goes into it. And on the other hand, the designer also needs to have the thought process of, how do I communicate this to the installer too? Because you can't just send all those parts to a job site and go to the next job.
This is why I think it's so important that we talk about how much a designer actually does, because not only do you have to think about the layout, and you're meeting with the homeowner trying to discuss, do they bake? What are they doing? Do they have a lot of spices? They do a lot of, heavy pan storage, and to facilitate the usefulness of the kitchen. But then you actually have to think about the functionality of how that kitchen works, and make sure that when you open a door, it doesn't slam into another door, that you have this right reveals and doing all that kind of stuff. And that's just like the bones of it. Then you got to get into design. You still have crown moldings, toe kicks, whatever kind of reveals you want. And then you go into the internal customization as far as pullouts and all these kind of things, which you guys don't do. You don't do a lot of them.
We
you limit
have
yourself.
some in our catalog.
Yeah.
So there's two ways you can do it. We make some, we order some from a company called Revishelf. So those you probably are familiar with.
And Revishelf's magazine is like this thick.
Yes,
It's like
constant. And most cabinet manufacturers stock a handful of those as well. And then if there's a specific Revishelf item you'd like, we can also give you a price to order and install it too. So there are different routes you can go for accessories, but the concern there is, if you're doing like a corner pull-out system, like a Le Mans, if you guys have installed those, is it hitting the range next to it? So you also have to think about, like you said, doors hitting collisions. If your dishwasher is in a corner and you pull it open, is it hitting the handle around on the next cabinet? So even thinking down to how big do my fillers need to be to miss things. So there's a lot that goes into it. And honestly, we talked about this a little before. You're buying the cabinets, yes, but you're also buying the designer's expertise and understanding and knowledge. And when you're just looking at the cost, the thought also needs to go into who is actually sitting down, looking at your design and thinking through all of these extra things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you had just mentioned, I've seen it before where folks will accommodate maybe for the dishwasher and the cabinet, but not for any hardware, any handles on there, right? That's a tough one.
That is so sad.
Yeah. Say like they put all their countertops in and everything, and now can't put a handle on it. Or corner drawer collisions I've seen people do, like,
where it's hitting on both sides. So there's definitely a lot of thought that has to go into that.
Sure.
And if you went the stock cabinet route, you have to think about it as well. So whether you're doing like your IKEA cabinets or like pre-stocked from Home Depot, there's definite thought that needs to go into it. And sure, if you wanted to do your own remodel, you can do it, but there's definitely a learning curve for that too. That comes into play that you would learn on site, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense. So, a couple questions I had were like, what was trendy when you first started in cabinetry, and what are you seeing now, and what are you guys talking about? I mean, I'm sure you probably have some company meetings about what's going to be coming up in the pipeline, trend wise, and stuff that's dying out.
Well, I would say blue is definitely on its way out a little bit, even though I love blue cabinets.
The dark blue?
Yeah, like we have a couple colors that aren't as popular, but years ago, it was every other kitchen.
And whites were really popular.
Yeah. And honestly, iceberg white, our white color was the top color until last year when it went to cloud white. So white is
Still
so
white.
popular. I think for me, are you designing for yourself or for the next homeowner? Because it may be what you want, but we do sell white. We're seeing a lot of greens come in right now and more earthy tones. So like richer brown stains going along with it. Rift white oak is very, very popular. We see that a lot. And then walnut, higher price point, but definitely still popular for sure. Less laminates. We did talk about laminates, but like bright high gloss white was very popular when I started. And I really it still has a place, but it's not at that level.
That European kind of look.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, now that you mentioned laminates, why don't you describe what a laminate is a bit and why some people choose to go that route? Because like commercial applications has to be laminate, right? For like medical and stuff like that.
Sure. And there are certain laminates that I know can be cleaned with heavy duty materials. We don't sell those, but they are very durable. They can be cleaned easier than, let's say, a paint, where really with paint, I would not want to be using any type of a cleaner, just like warm water. With a let's say you're doing a dentist office. We do have different types. So if you do a low pressure laminate or a melamine, there are different types of textured options that we have. And we did look at those the other day. So you can do a matte solid color or a texture. Once you get into the high pressure laminates, those custom ones we can order, those would be a higher price point, but you can do a lot more like fun colors if you want.
I think that's the thing is that when you're talking about laminate or Formica, you're talking about more on an aesthetic, for an aesthetic purpose, because they're trying to achieve a certain color or a certain kind of look, like the kitchen that we mentioned. Some drawers were a certain color, doors were another color, so you're able to mix and match these things. And that was, I don't even know if I can replicate that conversation that we had, because it almost felt like I was sitting in a lab trying to work out, a chemical compound, the way that you described having to band this thing and put this thing and the complexity behind it. It was almost mind-boggling, the things you had to know just to be able to achieve that.
For sure. Well, with a laminate, they come in typically 8-foot sheets. So it would only be available in a slab door. And when you're cutting that sheet, we don't want raw edges showing. So that's where the edge banding comes into play. And it also would be the same edge banding used on the cabinet as well. When you go the custom route, we then need to source the correct color, or we need to confirm we can source it. So there are more questions we have when we get into that custom realm. Anything that we have on our website would have matching edge banding.
Yeah. And so let's pivot a little bit. And I want to ask, when a manufacturer like Columbia decides to be able to allow somebody like ourselves to sell that product, what are they looking for? And here's a kind of a switch question: what can get a showroom dropped from carrying your product? Has that ever happened, or
not in my time, we have not dropped anybody. I'm trying to think. Honestly, if like we're looking for a good partner, so we tackle the manufacturer portion of it. We're looking for a partner who is going to stand up for us in the field and that we can also work with. So if it's a warranty thing, absolutely, we take care of it. But our biggest requirement, of course, is a showroom space where you can meet your customers. You're investing time and energy and into that space. So that would be a big requirement for sure. What I look for personally is that you have dedicated designers that are willing to learn. So I don't expect someone to open our catalog and magically be able to place an order tomorrow. Every cabinet company is almost like a different language. So they call parts are different names. Maria and I were talking about something, and she and I were saying we were talking about the same thing, but we're using different words.
Different
and I'm like, can you just show me what she drew it? And I'm like, okay, that's what we have that, and
That's
here's
funny.
where it is.
Right.
So it's more of she's willing to learn, and we sit down and we go through her design, and she's downloaded our catalog to design in 2020, and just putting in the time. My thought is that I feel that we are a good product and you guys are a really good fit for us. And so it just works really well where you came across us on an install, I believe, and it kind of just moved from there. So seeing our cabinets and then seeing the way you guys work, it worked really well.
Well, the thing for us, and just to flip that and answer my own question, is we are not just a cabinet company. We have two different companies, Casa Cabinets and Mazzamuto Construction. But typically the cabinets that we're selling, we're having to install, which I think is a big difference in most cabinet companies, because most cabinet companies, they sell, probably 10, maybe even 15 different brands, and they don't really care what they're selling because it's just usually what kind of price point can fit for the customer. The issue comes up with them designing a cabinet layout or whatnot, selling a product, and then it's the homeowner or the contractor who's left to figure that out. With us, we're the one selling the product and installing the product. So I always say I don't want to carry a product that I can sell and make money on, or sell to a consumer at a good price point, but then I have to come and lose money when I'm trying to install it because it's so problematic. And so that's what I really loved about Columbia, is that not only is, I think, the fact that it's manufactured in British Columbia is something that is important just because of the speed of which we can get it. And, it's probably as close to getting something manufactured in the US that you can have, right? But it's not a product that is trying to be a global product. We talked before the show, and because you do Northern California and Northern Nevada, that's your territory. I don't know the extent of what your territory or other representatives cover, but I know that you don't go, like we were talking about, potentially going into Florida. You don't do that. And I think that's very reminiscent of what we try to do as a company. Is you can only be good in a certain market, because once you get too big, you lose a certain amount of quality. So I like that about Columbia.
What is it? Is it just Florida that you guys don't sell in, or?
Oh, so we're just West Coast based.
Oh, West
So
Coast only.
Down the 5 freeway. We go over to parts of Montana. I have a couple showrooms like in the Reno area, and then Las Vegas and Hawaii. So West Coast.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but we were talking about it, and I'm going to go at some point. I want to go and visit the factory.
Let's go.
But let's go. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was walk us through the kind of the chain. A cabinet is built in a factory. Months later, is hanging on a wall somewhere in a kitchen. Can you walk us through the kind of the process that a homeowner might want to know as far as what happens from the conception to the manufacturing to the delivery?
I think the biggest thing to know is that, like throughout the design process, like as you're making those decisions, you have until sign off to make sure all of your measurements are correct, your finished ends, things like that. Until we get the okay that you want to buy it, we don't give a ship date. So, when you start talking to a customer and say, okay, our lead time is 8 to 9 weeks. That would be from when the order is placed or signed off.
Just a quick pause. 8 to 9 weeks. That is a standard lead time. So a homeowner should think.
So because we are a smaller factory, it does fluctuate. So the great thing for you guys is that we do update our schedule every single day on our ordering system. So if you ever want to know, hey, what's current lead times, I can send you a quick screenshot of where we are. Maria can access. Well, I think you guys have logins too. Maria can access it as well. It's not set in stone, but that would be the date that it does leave Canada. So we would want to be realistic. I'd rather be as realistic as possible for the customer and give them dates so that it can be delivered to the job site as well. So once the order is signed off and you get your date, you're in production, they will start building. So at that point, we can't make any changes. So if they're saying, oh my gosh, I changed my mind, unfortunately, it's pretty much set in stone at that point. Once the order, a week before the order is ready to ship, you guys will get preliminary delivery lists. The day that it ships, you'll also get another delivery list, and it will then go to our redelivery company in San Leandro. We do all of our trucks completely deliver everything to there, and then we have a contract with them to redeliver to your job site.
I see. So because it could come over to them in sections and then they take it and deliver it all at once. Is that the reason why?
So what we do is because our drivers are Canadian, we just take everything to that redelivery company. So we don't do anything tailgate. But if let's say you have different finishes, you've got a paint and a stain, they will be held to the longer lead time and built and shipped together. So we really want everything to be sent at the same time so that you're not tracking 3 different shipments, so that everything arrives and can be redelivered and installed together.
One of the things I was thinking of is, I'm sure you guys have with your product knowledge and your reasoning behind why Columbia is a better company than another one. Like if a client has an objection, says, hey, I found another cabinet company that's $10,000 less. What do you guys say to that?
I would say that if price is truly the end all be all of the job, there is a case where we may not be their cabinet company, but for where we are in the market, we do offer a lot of things at our price point. So you're getting full extension drawers, which means when you pull a drawer out, the back will come completely out from the cabinet. So you're seeing the back of that drawer. You're getting soft close hinges and glides as a standard. So there are a lot of things that we give you. We don't cut things down to give to a lower price point. And we are very competitive within our market. So you're getting catalyzed conversion finish that is very durable. For a homeowner, they're getting factory finished everything. And it's really trying to think, because usually I work with designers and can tell them all the design things that are super great about Columbia. I would just say that they are a fantastic company to work for. And I've worked with them for 12 years at this point. They're the longest company I've worked for from beginning to now. It's just they're very active in their community. They do a lot of volunteer work, donating through like places like Habitat for Humanity. And as far as cabinet quality, you are getting a 3/4 inch cabinet with a solid top on bases. So once your rough top goes on, you're not feeling that rough top underneath.
Yeah, I think just to jump in, 2 points I think I want to build off of you is that I think it's understated, and we kind of glossed over the fact that first of all, your dad owned his own cabinet company.
Yes,
right?
back when I was very young, he had a showroom.
And he sold Columbia.
He did not sell Columbia. He actually sold a couple other cabinet lines before Columbia came into the U.S.
But then he became a rep for Columbia.
Yes.
So he knew cabinets, and then he decided to become a rep for Columbia.
Yes.
And then the part that I really wanted to focus on is that you actually now are working for the same company that your dad worked for, which I think is really profound and goes to the quality of a company. Because I mean, if your dad didn't like Columbia or he had a bad experience with them, he would not advise you to go and work for them. And you've said all the great things. You love to work for them. They are integral in the community and things like that. But another part that we kind of glossed over is the warranty side. Just like you want to work with a company like us because we are basically the customer facing person of your product. But unlike other cabinet companies where they're going to ship off a product, and if the customer has a problem with it, they're kind of left, maybe they call a 1-800 number and they send out something, but you guys actually will show up to a job site and
yes, that would be me.
So tell us a little bit about that, what that part entails.
Should there be some type of issue, honestly, every cabinet company has their fair share of strange things that come up. I feel that Columbia does try to make it as right as possible within normal expectations. It would be me going out to meet one of you guys at the job site, just so we're all on the same page. We just want, our main goal is for the customer to be happy and move on with their life. And then usually when I get involved, something is not perfect and we want to get them to that spot. Let's say something gets damaged in shipping. It can happen. A door gets dinged. We can absolutely just place the replacement order and just get it moving as fast as possible. We understand that you're at the end of an install. These people want to move back to their house. They don't want you in their kitchen anymore. They're ready to cook from home. They want to have a party, whatever it is. And typically we just try to get parts and pieces out as fast as possible. We do leave space in the factory to accommodate the job completion parts, whether it is something miscut, like it happens, and you need a new toe kick or something comes damaged, we can absolutely take care of it. We just want to be the best possible partner for you guys to make sure that the job gets finished and you're able to move on and the homeowner can move on.
Yeah, I think that's something that we need to actually spend a little time and just discuss more, because I think that's really important. And again, going back to a lot of the reasons why we as a company decided to not do a walk-in off the street consumer showroom and do a private showroom is we wanted to give people a quality experience. And that also means a quality product. But I think the thing is, in my thinking, is that when you go out to a car dealership and you're buying a car and you're going to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, you want a premium experience. You want to know that you're taken care of, that you have a good product, that if there's an issue, they're going to back it up. That's why people go and spend money on a quality car. There's no difference than a cabinet. And I don't know why in the industry we've gotten away from that. But nowadays you have people that go into cabinet stores and they sit down and the sales rep will throw something together and they'll say, okay, buy it now. There's a sale going on and they're trying to close a deal and they're pushy and it doesn't feel, it's not the greatest experience. My feeling is you're spending, cabinet we've seen cabinet prices, people spend $80,000 on kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't that experience just be as luxurious as buying an expensive car? And I think what you're saying is 100% correct. You're on the tail end of a job.
Mm-hmm.
When cabinets come in, you've already gone through, if not weeks, maybe even months of renovation to get to that point. And that's beyond the original cost of the renovation. The cabinets are the other big ticket item.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 in cabinets. And these people are expecting these things to be what they want,
Mm-hmm.
and the product to be exemplify everything that they've thought about when they were dreaming of this Pinterest kitchen. So for somebody to actually be able to call a representative, get them out, have a face-to-face, and get that clarity on something, I think just goes to the overall product of what you're selling, and also the process of which we have tried to curate with Mazzamuto Construction and Casa Cabinets, is that premium experience. Because I think, along with the IKEA era, there's, I don't know what other terminology I could use, but I'll coin something later on. I'll figure something. But it's almost like it feels like a lot of times people get the used car salesman kind of speed, quick, cheap, and at the end, that's not what customers want. And most customers are willing to pay for that extra price to get that experience. So I think what you guys offer as a cabinet company is really in line with what we want to offer as a construction company. But more so, I think it speaks to your company, Columbia Cabinets, as a whole, of what they're trying to do. They're not trying to dominate the United States and sell a bunch of products. They want to do a really good job, take care of their customers, and I think that comes across in what you guys do.
Yeah, I think along with offering great service, is also setting customer expectation as well. We're still dealing with products that are cut from trees, and we also have to be realistic to a point of, okay, well, this had a branch here, and that's where these waves come from. And I think, yes, it will be a great product. It will last you a long time if you take care of it. But we also need to educate the customer as well. So we did just redo our website, and there is a lot of, like, a plethora of information on wood species, how woods like walnut and cherry change very drastically, actually. So things like that are really important if your customer is going with those wood species, to just say, hey, this is realistic. Here's a sample that it will be in a year or two. Here's what it will look like brand new. And I think as long as we have the correct expectations and they're told, hey, we don't want water sitting on these cabinets, we want to wipe them off, we want them to last a long time for you, that they will be happy in the long run. And Columbia does truly care. Like, we do want.
So what is there 5 questions that a homeowner should ask a cabinet showroom before signing anything? Is there anything that you would, this is a time that you can maybe differentiate yourself from other cabinet companies, and basically say, these are the things that you should stray away from when thinking about cabinets, and what things you can consider, and why they would want to look towards you versus somebody else?
Okay. I would say, like, just off the bat, like, where is this cabinet built? It honestly just depends, but like, the type of products going into your cabinetry as well. Some people are more cautious than others, but coming from British Columbia, they do stick to the Carb 2 standards to sell here in California. And like, the options available. So if there's a specific thing that the customer really wants, if they've seen an accessory, if they've seen their friend's kitchen and they want a specific item, and other cabinet companies don't have it, then potentially Columbia may be the route to go. I would definitely push customers toward our Instagram and our website for inspiration pictures to see if the things we offer are what they're looking for as well. Because there are much more expensive cabinet companies that are way more custom than us. And if that's the expectation, then potentially, like, we can still design a nice kitchen, but it honestly just depends on what they're looking at. The photos they bring in are really important as well. The
I think
style.
Makes sense.
I think one of the things that we could touch on too is the shipping and what we discussed before we started shooting. And I know from experience that a lot of cabinet companies are manufactured in Indonesia, Vietnam, and they're doing that, to get around like the China tariffs and things like that. But even when they were manufactured in China, I think the thing that most consumers don't realize is that coming out of British Columbia, your cabinets are coming whole. They're
Yes.
built in the factory,
Completely built.
put together, and then they're shipped on a truck. When they come out of Vietnam or Indonesia or these other places, they're typically flat packed, which means they're coming in a package, a cardboard box, and they're just the panels. They're coming to a warehouse somewhere, and somebody's is putting those together. And I've seen those cabinets before, and typically they're just thrown together with staples and there's some clips and kind of miscellaneous things that they do. But the point of it is it's they're taking them out of a shipping container, opening up a cardboard package, having these pieces, and then they're building them. And it's typically not in like a cabinet, quote unquote, space. It's usually in the back of a warehouse or something like that. And they're using nail guns and staple guns, and they're just kind of pop, 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 and throwing these things. And so they come and they're crooked and they got nails sticking out of them and all these kind of things. So I think, that's an important thing. And the thing that's why this is so important is because I think these are the distinctions that homeowners need to know, that not all cabinets are just universally the same.
No.
From a lot of different perspectives. Like you're saying the type of paint that you guys use, what were you calling it?
It's a catalyzed conversion varnish. So right before they paint it, they pour catalyst into the paint that hardens. And if you don't use it within 24 hours, it's unusable. So it hardens that top coat and gives you that durable finish.
So you have things like that, the flat pack issue. And I think the reason that flat pack issue comes to my forefront so much is because those are the things when a customer is getting cabinets installed, they're not typically seeing them come off the truck. The contractor's usually grabbing them and bringing them in, and they're only seeing the front of the cabinet, the finished side. They're not seeing the back side and where all the nails and screws are protruding and how, potentially difficult it is for the contractor to install and all these type of things. So I think that's really an important part. But there's so much that we could talk about, but why don't you to give us or the consumer, what would be the best educational beyond having a good designer? I think that's number one,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And this is the biggest reason, and I'm going to be kind of selling myself here in the company, why going to a designing showroom or a design firm like Mazzamuto Construction, where we can do the whole process for you, is really important. Because it's not only about the cabinets, it's about how it fits into the overall design of your home renovation. And so when you're talking about a cabinet designer, you're not just talking about somebody that's designing the layout, they're designing the color, designing the functionality. Yes, they're designing the layout, but they're thinking about all the little pieces and trim and moldings and toe kicks and crown moldings.
And asking all the right questions of what the customer needs.
Exactly.
And a customer can have a different understanding of the style you're talking about as well. So they could look at a framed door and call it a raised panel or whatever it is and not know,
Right.
Which is fine. They don't need to be the expert because you guys are, but definitely guiding them and finding out their style as well.
Yeah, and this low pressure thing, one of the things I've heard feedback from when people come and go through our showroom experiences is that we don't have 10,000 options. We don't have, a 10,000 square foot place with all these things that typically most people think that they want, but they don't really want because it becomes too overwhelming, right? So having that personalized guide to walk you through these steps and really have the confidence in doing that. But beyond that, what resources do you as a company can give to a consumer to really educate them on why they should go with you as a cabinet company?
For sure. So as far as what we can give, we offer just a really well-built cabinet as well. So like you said, no one is constructing them locally, but everything comes completely built, everything's installed, ready to for you guys to install. A huge thing that I also would push is knowing the installer too, would be another question that with you guys, you typically install them, which is great. But as far as with Columbia, like we are very selective with which dealerships we do choose to work with. I personally feel that it's a great brand, and I like the dealers that we do end up working with stay with us for, we've got some that are more than 20 years at this point. So to us, it's that relationship and knowing that those dealerships are hiring experienced designers and are watching as jobs get delivered and installed and are communicating as well. So it's those partnerships as well that they really do value. And just offering the absolute best that we possibly can on each job, and the support as well. So should there be questions, let's say, like I can always call the factory for specific photos or help order samples if they want to see specific things. So we can get samples out pretty quickly and get customers whatever resources that they need if they're more interested in how, quote, green we are, if they want to know like what type of paint we're using, things like that. We can definitely get it for them too.
What is your give us a little bit of a difference between particle board and plywood. I think that's probably one thing that homeowners do hear about and know a little bit about. So give us a little bit of explanation between both.
Yeah, so we have two different cabinetry construction options. So our particle board box would have a like top coat on it that is called a melamine, and it's either white or maple print. So if you feel it, you can definitely tell that it is not real wood. And if you would like to go to a plywood cabinet box, we can absolutely do that too. It is an upcharge for us. However, more than 70% of all of our sales in Northern California are plywood box construction.
Plywood box?
Yeah, that's typically what people want. But let's say you're doing the whole house and you're okay, like the laundry room is particle board potentially. Like if you wanted to save a little bit on certain rooms, you absolutely can mix and match.
I had a question. I was thinking to myself, you've probably seen some interesting kitchens. Maybe seen some interesting kitchens that you're like, I don't know if I would do that in my own house versus like, hey, that's like super cool and I'd want that. It's like a dream kitchen. Can you tell us maybe like your best and worst kitchen you've seen without throwing somebody under the bus?
Sometimes it's just the case of how it's like decorated later when you're like, oh, interesting. Okay. There are a couple designers that I would be like, oh, I would love for you to design my kitchen someday. Sometimes people will like recess cabinets back into part of the garage to create like a buffet area and maximize space. So I know one lady where she shows me the before and the after, and I cannot see it. So it's really cool to see, like, how did your mind even think about this and where did you go? Because I come from the cabinetry side where you show me the design, I can help you figure out the parts and pieces, but I'm not a designer. Like, I didn't go to design school. So it's so cool to see, like, she's like, oh yeah, we took this wall out and put in a coffee bar in the master closet. I'm like, wow.
So you're talking about where they would basically cut in a hole and push it in flush so the cabinets are faced.
Yeah, you have a little countertop, but all that storage back in there in a space where typically it would just be a table.
Sure.
So they're able to kind of work with the space, and it is really cool to see what people end up doing.
So how about some like crazy colors or?
So I did show you that one. There was one, I didn't get to go to this job site, but it was lime green with hot pink countertops. And it's just, happy they're happy.
Yeah. Happy they're happy. You're like, I'm happy for you.
Yeah. It's really fun though. Cause sometimes they recently sent me photos of doors that were bright orange. Like, where is this going?
Yeah.
Like, I want to see this installed because it's like, it's so interesting. I had a lady with a yellow cabinet door and I just thought, oh, I do not like that. And I ended up at the job site and it was mixed with walnut and it was so pretty.
Yeah.
Yellow and walnut, huh?
Yeah. It just worked really well in this craftsman house and it was so beautiful. So I'm not a designer. I couldn't see it, and it was beautiful.
That's cool.
Well,
It's really cool.
I think that you touched on a couple of things, and one is I think just the detail when people are thinking about cabinets. That's just one section of our overall remodel, and why you really need professional guidance through the whole thing. To your point, because one of the things that we really got sick of seeing was the white cabinet trend, and I think the reason that was so prevailed for so long was people really, when they're thinking about installing cabinets that they're going to be living with, they tend to get hesitant about taking risks because they don't want to do something that they're then going to be stuck with. So I think that it's really cool that people take those kind of risks, like you're saying, because you can really have a great outcome if led in the right direction. It's just like any other professional thing. You need to lean on somebody that can guide you to the right things. But there was a topic that we had touched on before we started recording, and you were telling me a story about your own experience with a contractor. And I know that you can't say who they are because they had you sign an NDA. But
oh wow,
yeah.
But I think that this is really crucial to the overall arching theme of why we do the Mazzamuto Method podcast. And you come from obviously, like you said, you come from a cabinet background. It's not in construction specifically, but it does touch on construction. But you were surprised at how little you actually knew about the process. So without, again, disclosing who they are, we'll just say they're a big company. They have a lot of great reviews. And this is why I say reviews don't really mean anything, because people can buy reviews, and obviously they can have you sign non-DA, so you can't talk about it.
Anything, yeah.
But give us, without disclosing too much, tell us about what happened.
Sure. So as a first-time home buyer, we wanted to redo our windows. So they were they were drafty, and one of them was leaking. So when it would rain, we would I'm so sorry.
Here?
We would tape plastic over the bottom edge on the outside, because I'm it's just
right.
So our French door was leaking, our windows leaking, and we just thought, if we redo them, we should do them all, because you don't want a mismatched window situation. So I think biggest thing we did that I regret is not talking to a couple different companies. In the initial appointments, it would have been nice to have reached out to a couple different companies and really understood what our house needed. And I don't know the difference between different kinds of windows. So retrofit, or you guys...
Construction.
Yes. So the ones that are flat to the stucco. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we should have done, apparently.
You did retros, yeah.
Yes. So we ended up they were offering oh, we can change the sizes of these windows. We can switch you to this or that. And it all just sounded so great. And it's our team, and it's white glove, and we're licensed, but like you were saying, not everybody is licensed. So it just turned into a situation of we don't know. And when the two guys show up on the day to rip everything out, how am I supposed to know? But it went down it went south really fast, to where our waterproofing and our walls was cut because we changed sizing and did retrofit windows. And it was a whole dramatic saga of years of fighting over, hey, you guys need to fix this. Our stucco is cracked. We changed a screen door into a window because it wasn't permitted, and the last homeowners had switched out a window, and the wall that they built was cracking, and it was just one thing after the other. And honestly, I wish that I had taken more time to understand. And even knowing people that do windows, I just didn't want to bother customers and say, hey, I know you also do windows. Can you help me? Because I didn't want to impose on them, I guess.
Sure.
But I wish I had. So we ended up eventually starting over from scratch, basically, and finding a really great company out of Sacramento. They stepped in and helped us fix everything too. So it all worked out.
I want to give a shout out to that company since they helped you out.
Yeah, the best in Sacramento. They are great. I think that's her name. The guy's name's Eric. He was really nice.
So and that's what
really helpful.
That's part of what we're not just here for ourselves. We can we want to support the companies that also are good, because what we're trying to do is cut through the fog, so to speak, of of thinking that all contractors are the same. And if we can really amplify the good ones, that's what we want, because we don't want people to have those experiences that you had.
Yeah.
Well, and that was our experience, and maybe some people, like, it was done correctly, and we just don't know those particular team who came to do our house because the project manager didn't come and these random guys showed up to.
So kind of the piecemeal this thing. They came, gave you a great sales pitch.
Yes.
White glove, everything. Then the guys came, and from our discussion, I think we came to the point that they didn't even work for the company. They were subcontractors.
Yes. So that's what we found out later. And it was just the drywall being used was expired, like old drywall that was cracking, peeling off the wall. The windows were leaking. Like first rain, it just started all leaking. It was just very sad.
Brand new windows leaking first rain.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, this is the antithesis of what we try to do, is to educate the consumer, because what you had, unfortunately, happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of good things. One is, just because it's a big company doesn't, you naturally think, oh, that they're big, so they must be great at what they do. But most companies get to a certain size and they lose the ethics of what maybe potentially got them there. They don't have the customer service anymore because they're just dealing with too much. Yeah. They're chasing profits. I mean, the fact that you signed on with a company and then got a subcontractor, this is unfortunately really typical of what happens. And it's not just the fact that it's a subcontractor, because using subcontractors is not inherently bad if you have a good working relationship with subcontractors. What happens is that, but these companies, they sell these because you have to imagine they're doing jobs, Sacramento, Napa, San Francisco, all over the place. Okay, so they get these jobs and they sell them to these subcontractors that they don't even know. They don't know who these people are, and so they're sending these people to your house to do work that you think you're getting a whole different company, and you're getting people that are basically unknowns. And so, not only did you have a bad experience, but you kind of got duped, unfortunately. And third, you then had to go through extensive lawsuit period just to try to come out to a place not whole, because then you had to go through it again with another contractor.
So you guys had to file a lawsuit, hence the NDA.
It wasn't a lawsuit. We did get lawyers involved and ended up settling.
Got it. So it was a settlement with an NDA.
I decided the lawyer's the one who won.
Yeah. Lawyers always are the one.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. I know an attorney very well, and he'll be very honest and tell you that the attorneys are the only ones who really ultimately win. I was thinking before we end too, so just let me know. I want to run you through I have a question of lightning round question.
Okay.
Of
do it.
Yeah. So, but go ahead. Well, we can do it at the end.
Well, we're at towards the end.
We're gonna wrap it.
Yeah, we're getting close.
So, okay, painted or stained?
Ooh, painted.
Okay. Oak or walnut?
Walnut.
Yeah, walnut's nice. It used to be oak, but walnut is
Rift oak, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, the Rift is really nice. Modern or traditional?
Transitional.
Transitional. Oh, there.
Can we go in between?
Yeah. So letter C.
Okay. Yes.
Frameless or face frame?
Frameless.
Quartz or natural stone do you like to see?
Oh, I guess quartz, because you get different patterns.
Yeah.
Mine just came with my house. So.
Yeah, you're like, I like it. And then for appliances, what are you liking to see with appliances? Are you liking stainless or something more traditional?
Cafe. Have you guys seen the white ones with the gold handles? Oh
really
my gosh,
nice.
Those are so pretty. So
Really
it's either
nice.
Le Cornu or actual realistic price budget at the cafe.
Got it.
Line. Is it GE? I don't know who makes
Yeah, it's the GE Cafe.
Those are so nice.
Yeah, really nice stuff. So then on that note, because that was going to be my other question for you, is your dream kitchen. What would you do?
Oh, that's so hard because I know what's available.
Because you're in the industry.
And things change so much. So it's definitely not white, but white would last. I guess paint, like a green paint right now. I'm really liking all the green colors that come out mixed with maybe like a walnut like island. I've seen 2 islands recently. And have you seen where they have the kitchen and then there's a separate like butler's pantry kitchen for all of the appliances and like actual, maybe not a full kitchen, but just to hide everything. That's pretty nice.
We literally just finished. We just bid it. We designed it and we just bid it. Yeah, it's a kitchen with a door that goes into a butler's pantry is what they call it. That's a lot of the appliances. The wife is a big baker.
Okay.
And that's going to be like her whole baking side.
That's so nice.
I know.
That exact kitchen.
Right? Seriously, I want that too. Make the mess in there and then like your other kitchens, like your clean kitchen.
Well, you know,
right?
where we grew up, our father and grandparents came from Sicily. In the house that my grandparents had, there was actually 3 kitchens.
Oh my
3.
gosh. Well,
They had-
it's really important.
But they had a kitchen and a whole ensuite of the front of the house that was just for guests only. So that way when they came in, it was always clean. We were allowed as kids to go over there. And then they had the regular kitchen, which my grandma had a stool and a couch because basically she spent all her time.
She lived in it.
And then they had the outdoor kitchen, which was for fish and everything like that. So they didn't stink up the house.
Yeah.
3 kitchens. That's my new goal.
Yeah.
Which I need to do, you know, recently my wife is pregnant. And I tried, we cooked, she said, I want fish. So I cooked the whole house.
Smells like fish.
And she was gagging.
Doesn't want fish in it.
Exactly. She said, I don't think I'm ever going to eat fish again.
Yeah.
So I do have a couple questions also.
Okay.
What is it? One of the cabinet features that you think is worth every penny, and one that you think is purely showroom candy?
So I would say dovetail, like hardwood maple dovetail drawer boxes and rollouts, definitely worth every penny. If you do plywood, it's included, but definitely upgrade those with the particle board boxes. And I have to say, have you seen the Magic Corner blind corner cabinet hardware?
We'll show
it pulls out and then down and out, and it
Mhm.
probably would hold 1 toaster.
Yeah.
So they're great. And they work and you can fit things, but the shelves are so tiny.
Yeah. It's kind of a fix to the Lazy Susan.
Yeah.
But to your point, the shelf itself is so small you can't really fit much on
Put
it.
your toaster in there.
Yeah.
But they're very cool. And if you have a giant kitchen with the 3 kitchen situation, sure. Yeah.
3 kitchens.
Throw it in there. But
All right.
if it's small space, probably.
Yeah.
Off question. You're a huge Giants fan.
Yes.
A Giants fan.
Who's your favorite Giants player?
Right now, Chapman. I love going to the stadium. I will say I'm a huge Giants fan there. I don't watch it on TV.
Okay.
But we do
like
have
the
stadium
experience.
seats from the park at our house.
Oh, wow.
I bought them at auction. I was like, this is the
This-
greatest purchase I've ever made.
Does Columbia Cabinets have any seats anywhere?
I wish.
No.
I
Come on,
think,
Columbia, get some cabinets. Let's go see the game.
I think,
No boxes?
but if you visit Canada, don't you want to see hockey?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you're right.
The
So
Canucks are
Columbia,
in
send
big-
us some hockey invite.
we go.
Yeah, we'll go to a
You're
Canadian
Hannah.
hockey game. Yeah.
We'll go
Well,
see
if
it.
you're in Vancouver, they're like 30 minutes away. So you
No, we're
do a
going to
whole
definitely
trip.
come up and see the.
Yes.
I've
a
actually
tour.
never visited Canada. It's been
Okay,
on my
get your passport.
I do have my.
I have.
Perfect.
I've been to Whistler, British Columbia.
Oh,
Okay.
Mm,
Well, you can go to Columbia, Vancouver, and then go to Whistler, and it's a whole work trip.
Totally. Yeah. Whistler's pretty amazing.
And we know that you're what do you call it? An athlete, a triathlete? What would you name yourself?
I don't know. I'm pretty slow. So in my race this weekend, I was the last in my age group.
So
That was out there.
Hey, but you crossed the
Yeah,
finish line.
yes, I got my medal. I got my free
That's
food.
right.
Went home.
So I want the
great.
question
All
is
for the free food?
Yeah, for sure.
is be honest, what's harder, a marathon training or a triathlon training?
Triathlon because swimming is not easy. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it is so
I'd
difficult.
sink.
I'm like the last one backpedaling, like just floating around in the
Mm.
triathlon race, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Gets you outside. I would say running is more my strong suit, but I got injured, then ended up into triathlon somehow.
I see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Downhill spiral.
we appreciate you coming on, but let
Thank
me wrap up with one final question.
Okay.
If you had to give one piece of advice to a homeowner
Mm.
about starting a remodel, what would you tell them?
Oh, that is really hard. I guess decide what are your what is the most important thing to you?
Mm-hmm.
What thing can you not let go of? Like if you're deciding to spend all of this money, what is the thing that you have to have in this kitchen, and start with that.
Your must-haves and build around that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Whether
great.
it's style or, like you said, that baking area,
Yep.
then you can design around that.
Yeah.
So what are you using this space for, and what is your must-have?
Right.
Sure.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And my thing is, if you think about something more than 3 times, that's the things that you're never going to stop thinking about.
Okay.
And I tell this to most people, and I know it might sound kind of odd, but unless you're 81, 90 years old, you have the ability to make more money. You never get, once your kitchen is done, you're most likely never going to do that again. So if you're trying to keep something within budget, and that one thing that you really want is just right outside, I'm sure you can make that thing work, because historically I've seen people that haven't, and that's the one thing that just bugs them like mad.
Forever.
They go, it looks fantastic, I love it, but I really wish I would have done that.
So you're saying you only lived once, buy Columbia Cabinets.
Exactly.
Hey, there we go.
And since this is your debut podcast, right? This is your first podcast that you've been on. Anybody you want to say hi to? Any family members? Your husband? Anybody?
Ooh, my sister Laurel. Hello. I'll make her watch. I watch her Instagram stuff, so I will
Okay.
Sweet.
send it over.
Well, we appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
Thank you. This is fun.
with Columbia, again, I was blown away by the amount of knowledge that you, first, the one that you retain is amazing. And I know that after we wrap this up, I'm sure I'm going to have questions that I wish I would have asked. So we'll be sure to get you on again. But I appreciate you making the time and coming out and sit with us. So thank you, everybody, for watching the Mazzamuto Method. We try to bring clarity and information to the consumer, and also help people, if they're not in the industry, to get the knowledge they need to make definitive decisions in this industry. So hope you got some educational knowledge out of this. If you like this, hammer that subscribe button.
That's his new thing.
That's my new thing.
Okay.
Because of construction, right?
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay.
We'll see you later on the next podcast. Till then, I'm Gino Mazzamuto.
I'm Mario Mazzamuto.
I'm Hannah Santilan.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.